2024 presidential election hangs in the balance. Rajapaksa still on the fence. Sajith loses control over SJB. Politics behind visit to Gamingala Wickrama. Lanza plans to woo bigger crowds than Compass.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
2024 presidential election hangs in the balance. 2024 started with a promise as a year of elections, but some suspect that the presidential polls will not take place as scheduled. Both Sajith Premadasa and Anura Kumara Dissanayake have already voiced their concerns. There is speculation as well which election will come first, presidential or general. Several weekend newspapers reported the president would take a decision in April. Highlighting it with a banner headline was Irida Deshaya, published by UMP Deputy Leader Ruwan Wijayawardena's Wijaya newspapers. It quotes government seniors as having told the president that going by opinion poll results, holding a general election first would be good for the government's health. To ascertain that, the president's side has handed over conducting a survey in April, with his Chief of Staff Sagala tasked with coordinating it. Further, the SLPP says it will announce in April whom it will support. In the event it decides against supporting him, Ranil should get existing supporters in the party and go for a snap general election according to the seniors. At the same time, Karu Jayasuriya's National Movement for Social Justice is leading a campaign for the abolition of the executive presidency. SLPP chairman Maithri too says he will support such a proposal. But Sajith's stand is somewhat different. He says the SJB believes in the need for amending the powers of the executive presidency, which has been used as a tool to deny citizens democratic rights and freedom. But that should not allow the president to deny people's voting rights, and both presidential and general elections should take place this year, he insists. In the meantime, Ranil has told India's WION News during his trip to Australia that both presidential and parliamentary polls would happen this year. Answering questions, he said that, "For me to be back, I must contest, and that I have come here to put the economy into order. My first duty is to focus on that we get out of bankruptcy." Asked if he thinks he has done a good job about the economy, Ranil replied that, "Well, I'm quite satisfied. I feel we will be able to do this." His answers about elections are quite evasive. Advisors tell him that both the country and the government would be okay if elections are postponed by at least a year. At the same time, there is suspicion if Ranil is up to a different ballgame while asking Lanza to hold meetings around the country on his behalf. It may even be that such suspicions during election time have become habitual. Rajapaksa still on the fence. The internal differences in the SLPP have intensified following its talks with the president. According to sources at Nelam Mawatha, party founder Basil Rajapaksa has decided to cut short his vacation in the US and is expected back towards the end of this month. Once he returns, preparing the presidential candidate and the campaign itself would begin. SLPP General Secretary Sagara Karyawasam says many proposals about its contender are under consideration. He has told party office staff that Ranil would most likely not be their candidate. That is because the Rajapaksa family has decided to field Namal Rajapaksa. Anyhow, the SLPP intends to announce its candidate in April. That is why Ranil has put off until that month his decision about contesting. In the event the SLPP fields its own candidate, the party will disintegrate further because many will be unwilling to wager their future for the sake of Namal's presidency dream. That could well be the intention of the Rajapaksas, to strengthen its family hold in the party. Sajith loses control over SJB. The recent protest hinted at a deepening dispute in the SJB. Key party figures such as Sarath Fonseca and Gayantha Karunatilake were absent at the event. Fonseca even admitted the pro-Ranil MPs in the SJB are at talks with that side. In the meantime, State Minister Shamara Sampath said in Parliament that he was not jealous about the love affair between the SJB and the President. He said he knew about everybody who meets the President in the secret and receives privileges, not even those in the government get. He also said Sajith was keeping his men intact with the greatest of difficulties. But political sources say Sajith has taken a leap forward with his recruitment of former top military officers into his party. Ex-Army Chief Daya Ratnayaki's arrival was followed by former Navy Commander Daya Sangagiri, with many predicted to follow suit. Hashana Rajakaruna is coordinating these with the support of a close relative of his. But the Field Marshal is especially against the acceptance of ex-military chiefs by the party. He told several independents during a chat in Parliament that Sandagiri had gone to Harshana's home for a different purpose, but was taken to meet Sajith, who got pictures taken and released to the media. The same thing happened when Mahajana Party MP Nawaratne was invited for talks. Where is he now? Such publicity stunts cannot help Sajith to defeat the Compass, he went on. It appears that Sajith is losing control over the SJB. That is what Ranil wants to happen, and why he asks Rajith and Fonseca to remain in the SJB. Politics behind visit to Gamini Jayawikrama. Ranil and Sagala returned on Saturday night from Australia. As usual, Tiran was there to welcome him. On the next day, the president was in Kurunegala to visit his former cabinet colleague and UNP heavyweight Gamini Jayawikrama. Akila Viraj Karyawasam organised the visit. Gamini joined Sajith at the last general election. Visiting him at his Katugampola home, Ranil had a chat with him and his family members for some time. He even conversed with the villagers gathered there upon hearing of his arrival. Accompanying him on the visit were Akila, as well as Gamini's son, Asanka Sudhira. Many wondered what acting IGP Deshabandhu Tenakun was doing there. He is from that area and was Gamini's personal security officer for quite some time. Politics behind Ranil's visit came to be known only later. Gamini's son Asanka is now back in the UNP. He was previously the SJB's organiser for the Katugampola electorate. He even met the media at his home to make the announcement. Upon hearing that, Sajith appointed Thushara Indunil and Nilantha Herath as his co-organisers for Katugampola. As the Compass gains momentum, old-timers Ranil and Sajith are now fighting against each other. Ranil uses his experience to play the game, while Sajith does firefighting only. Lanza plans to woo bigger crowds than Compass. So far, only the NPP is holding rallies at the grassroots to draw big crowds. Others are satisfied with dishing out voice cuts. Now, Nimal Lanza's new alliance is planning rallies to show that they too have public attraction. After holding the first one in Jaela last month, it is going to have another at Hyde Park in Colombo on the 24th. Susil Premajayantha and Sugeswara Bandara are organising it. It is to introduce two new faces, both minority party leaders from the East. According to reports reaching the leader, they are Nazir Ahmed and S. Vyalendran. There is talk about HMM Haris and Ishaq Rahman too, joining, but they are still uncertain. Anurayappa said while having tea at the Parliament canteen that crowds for the Compass will look small once their faction starts holding rallies. Many heads of state institutions have met Lanza to extend their support. He had to foot heavy bills for two such meetings at a star-class Colombo hotel recently. The Hyde Park one could well be their last rally because it will soon ally with the SLPP and function under the chair symbol. Arrangements are being made to hold public meetings in Hambantota and Badula. Meanwhile, SLPP General Secretary Sagara says his party does not have money to hold such meetings with many months to go for the election. Is that really so? Or is it the story about the bitter grapes? The presidential election will be a do-or-die game for every candidate. The fates of the candidates themselves and the camps they represent will be decided this time. That's it for today.